Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. During our last hearing on January 27, 2025, we were made aware of the issues surrounding the Bauan waterworks system as disclosed by COA. The project did not adhere to the requirements set forth under Republic Act 6957 as amended by Republic Act 7718, which governed the Build, Operate, Transfer Scheme, and Republic Act 9184, or the Government Procurement Law. Notably, COA flagged an advance payment made by a certain Mr. Herbert Tan, who later became the president of the project proponent company, for 2 million pesos intended for the municipality's electricity expenses. This payment was made on March 26, 2007. Before the project proponents company, Aqua Data, was formally incorporated. On March 27, 2008, Mr. Tan made another significant financial gesture, a 20 million peso deposit for the future sale of the water system. This payment came only 8 days before the incorporation of Aqua Data and 13 days before the contract was awarded to the company on April 9, 2008. There were other significant lapses in transparency, including the failure to publish the invitation to apply for eligibility and to bid in newspapers of general and local circulation, resulting in limited participation in the bidding process. Everything here suggests conflict of interest and undue advantage in the awarding of the contract. Accordingly, they were issued a notice of disallowance by the COA as follows: 22,068,528 and 93 centavos for personal services, 18,249 peso 249,843 pesos and 26 centavos for MOE, and 62,191,627 and 26 centavos for revenue share of Aqua Data, with a total of 102,509,999 and 45 centavos. This is a substantial amount of money reflecting a blatant disregard for public funds, which COA is rightfully seeking to recover. These violations, among others, have serious implications on the integrity of the project and its compliance with legal and procedural standards. The committee will need to examine these issues in greater detail, especially the involvement of the local officials, particularly Mayor Ryan Dolor himself, to ensure that accountability is properly addressed. It is also essential that we identify the rules of Aqua Data Incorporated and any other relevant parties involved in the irregularities in the bidding, procurement, and violation of processes. This will help us establish accountability for the failures that have led to the misuse of public funds. On the legislative front, we must revisit and amend key laws to close the loopholes in accountability and compliance. The committee should consider revising the BOT law to ensure that privatization projects adhere to transparent standards and proper procurement practices. Additionally, we must closely examine the Local Government Code of 1991 to strengthen the authority of the Department of Interior Local Government in expeditiously addressing violations committed by erring LGU officials. Another issue we'll focus on today is the leasing of the Bauan Basketball Court, a public property, to Bauan Plaza Hotel. According to the COA, a separate notice of charge was issued amounting to 14,704,320 pesos. This amount represents the underpayment resulting from valuation discrepancies over a 5-year rental period. This highlights serious concerns regarding the proper valuation and management of public assets, which resulted in a loss of revenue for the municipality. It also raises questions about whether legal processes were followed in determining the lease terms and if the agreement was beneficial to the public interest. Given these findings, it is imperative that we scrutinize the lease agreement further and ensure that appropriate measures are taken to hold accountable those responsible for any financial irregularities. These are based on the COA's pronouncements during the last hearing, derived from their fraud audit reports. These reports have already been submitted to the Office of the Ombudsman for appropriate action. Thus, the committee must strongly advocate for Ombudsman's swift resolution of the matter as the next steps in the criminal and administrative cases against the involved officials rest in their hands. It is imperative that those responsible for these violations be prosecuted with urgency to ensure accountability and uphold the rule of law. I look forward to the committee's deliberation and may we have a productive hearing. Maraming salamat po.